ESPN's Chiney Ogwumike just got caught in 4K, saying one thing to Caitlin Clark's face and something completely different to Angel Reese. The receipts are brutal. First telling the world Caitlin Clark is the needle, then turning around and telling Angel we got you sis about credit distribution. The two-faced pandering would be hilarious if it wasn't so pathetic. This level of hypocrisy exposes everything wrong with WNBA coverage today. Today's Chiney Ogwumike. Oh, all of these people at ESPN, all of these old guard WNBA loyalists, all of these racial idolizers, these people drive me nuts. ESPN analyst Chiney Ogwumike just provided us with a masterclass in how to completely contradict yourself depending on who's in the room, and it's honestly embarrassing to watch. The hypocrisy is so obvious that you have to wonder if she thinks viewers have the memory of a goldfish. Let's start with Exhibit A, Chiney talking directly to Angel Reese during a recent interview. "I want you to know that we stand for you, sis." Chiney tells Angel, practically dripping with sisterhood energy, "Your fans, they're not to be played with. We do, and we know you carry a lot of weight and you represent so much, but we love what you have brought to the game." Then comes the real kicker, and I feel like a lot of people on the outside are saying, "Oh, this person gets the credit, that person, for us we got you. Period. Wow, that's quite a statement. Chiney is essentially telling Angel that she doesn't buy into the narrative that this person, who could she possibly be referring to, deserves all the credit for the WNBA's recent surge in popularity. She's firmly Team Angel, making it crystal clear with that emphatic period. Roll the tape to Exhibit B, Chiney discussing Caitlin Clark declining the NBA's three-point contest invitation. Caitlin Clark, in her decision, "I not only respect it, but I wholeheartedly support it," Chiney declared. "You know, a lot of people say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. She dictates." Wait, what? She is the needle, she dictates? That doesn't sound anything like a lot of people on the outside are saying this person gets the credit. It sounds exactly like Chiney herself giving Caitlin all the credit, but she wasn't done heaping praise on Clark. We all know what she's done on the floor, it's history. But off the floor, my goodness, she and the Indianafever accounted for 45% of all the broadcast value of the WNBA last season. 45%. That's not moving the needle, that's owning the entire measuring system. Chiney continues, she also is helping drive the numbers of merchandising up 500%. Of course her jersey was number one. This isn't subtle. Chiney is directly attributing the WNBA's unprecedented growth specifically to Caitlin Clark, not to all the amazing women in the league or the collective talents of the rookies or any other diplomatic phrasing. She's saying, in no uncertain terms, that Clark is the reason for the league's explosion in popularity. So which is it, Chiney? Is Caitlin Clark the needle who single-handedly accounts for nearly half of the WNBA's broadcast value and drove merchandise sales up 500%? Or is she just this person who outside people wrongly give credit to, while you're firmly on Team Angel? The answer, of course, is that it depends entirely on who Chiney is talking to at the moment. When she's discussing Clark's impact on the league in general, she's completely comfortable stating the obvious truth that Clark has transformed the WNBA's business metrics in unprecedented ways. But the second she's sitting across from Angel Reese, that entire narrative gets tossed out the window. Suddenly it's all "we got you, sis," and dismissing the very same credit allocation that she herself promoted just months earlier. This kind of two-faced commentary reveals something deeply problematic about how certain WNBA analysts approach their jobs. There's a pervasive fear of being honest with players who might not want to hear the truth. Instead of maintaining consistent analysis based on facts and metrics, they shapeshift their opinions depending on who's in the room. As we said at the beginning of this video, these analysts treat certain players like fragile children who can't handle honest feedback or objective analysis. They'll say one thing when that player isn't around, then completely contradict themselves when face to face. It's patronizing, it's dishonest, and it's a disservice to both the players and the fans. What makes this particularly frustrating is that it's not just Chiney. This represents a larger pattern in how certain WNBA analysts approach their coverage. They talk about growing the game and supporting women's basketball, but their actions suggest they don't believe these athletes can handle straightforward analysis. Can you imagine an NBA analyst telling LeBron James one thing to his face and then saying the complete opposite when discussing Nikola Jokic? They'd be laughed off the air. NBA players are expected to handle criticism and honest assessment. Why aren't WNBA players extended the same respect? The irony is that this kind of pandering actually undermines the very players these analysts claim to support, by treating them like they need to be coddled rather than respected as professionals who can handle honest feedback. They're infantilizing the very women they claim to champion. Let's be absolutely clear, there's nothing wrong with praising Caitlin Clark's impact on the league. The numbers speak for themselves. TV ratings have skyrocketed, merchandise sales have exploded, and attendance has surged dramatically. Acknowledging this reality isn't taking anything away from Angel Reese or any other player, it's simply stating facts. Similarly, there's nothing wrong with recognizing Angel Reese's contributions to the WNBA's growth. Her dominant rebounding, social media presence, and role as the league's self-proclaimed villain have undoubtedly added to the conversation and brought new eyes to women's basketball. What is wrong is saying one thing when one player is in the room and something completely different when another player is present. That's not analysis, that's pandering. But Chiney wasn't done with her two-faced act. The clip continues with her interviewing Indiana Fever veteran Kelsey Mitchell, and the pandering reaches new heights. Lord Jesus, your team and their fans, Jesus, they be getting up in everybody's business, Chiney says with an exaggerated delivery that seems designed to create distance between herself and the Fever fanbase. This performative sisterhood act is transparent and awkward. Suddenly adopting different speech patterns and mannerisms depending on who she's interviewing isn't authentic, it's condescending. To her credit, Kelsey Mitchell handles the question with remarkable professionalism. Rather than taking the bait to criticize Fever fans or create unnecessary drama, Mitchell calmly discusses the growth she's witnessed in Indiana. I think I've seen both sides of it. For one, like being on the team with Caitlin and knowing some of the stuff and the wave that she created for where the game is, I've seen so much of it. And so I think for me lately was the shift in moments in Indiana, period. As far as like the arena, where we started, Mitchell continues by acknowledging the transformative impact she's witnessed while maintaining her professionalism. No drama, no contradictions, just honest assessment of what she's observed. This contrast between Mitchell's consistent, thoughtful response and Chiney's shape-shifting commentary couldn't be more telling. One is a professional maintaining her integrity regardless of the audience, the other is changing her entire perspective based on who's sitting across from her. What makes this situation even more ironic is that Mitchell later makes a point about the importance of authenticity and integrity. All money is not good money, and I mean that literally. You have to go where you're literally loved, and I mean that literally, and I mean that intentionally. Go where you're loved and not tolerated. While Mitchell was discussing contract decisions, her words apply perfectly to this situation. Authentic analysis might not always be what certain players want to hear, but it represents genuine respect for them as professionals. Telling different stories to different players isn't love. It's tolerance at best, manipulation at worst. The broader context here matters too. This pattern of inconsistent analysis isn't unique to Chiney. Remember when Cheryl Swoops claimed there were serious issues in the Fever locker room, only for multiple team members to publicly refute those claims? These narratives don't emerge from nowhere. They stem from an ecosystem of commentary that prioritizes drama and protection over honest analysis. What's particularly frustrating about this situation is that it represents a missed opportunity for genuine growth in WNBA coverage. The league is experiencing unprecedented attention right now. More eyes are on women's basketball than ever before. This is precisely the moment when thoughtful, consistent analysis could help new fans understand and appreciate the game at a deeper level. Instead, what we're getting from certain analysts is this bizarre dance of contradiction, saying whatever they think each player wants to hear rather than providing insight that viewers can actually trust. This approach isn't just dishonest, it's unsustainable. In the age of social media and instant access to past clips, these contradictions are inevitably exposed. When analysts try to play both sides, they end up damaging their credibility with all audiences. The contrast with NBA coverage is stark. NBA analysts like Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, and Stephen A. Smith are known for their unfiltered opinions. They might praise a player one day and criticize them the next, but that fluctuation is based on performance and analysis, not on who happens to be in the room. That consistent standard of analysis has helped build the NBA's media ecosystem into what it is today. Players might not always like what they hear, but they respect analysts who maintain their integrity rather than those who tell them whatever they want to hear. This is the standard WNBA coverage should be aspiring to, not this strange patronizing approach where certain analysts apparently believe players can't handle straightforward assessment of their impact and performance. The irony is that by treating these athletes like they need to be coddled, These analysts are undermining the very league they claim to support. Strong professional coverage that holds everyone to the same standard would do far more to legitimize the WNBA in the eyes of casual fans than this inconsistent pandering. Let's imagine how this situation could have been handled differently. Chiney could have maintained a consistent position regardless of who she was interviewing. If she believes Caitlin Clark is the needle who has transformed the WNBA's business metrics, she could acknowledge that reality while still appreciating Angel Reese's contributions. Angel, you've been an incredible part of this WNBA renaissance. Your rebounding dominance and competitive fire have created some of the most compelling storylines of the season. While Caitlin's impact on viewership and merchandise has been unprecedented, you've carved out your own unique space in this league and brought in fans who might never have watched otherwise. See how easy that was? Acknowledging Clark's business impact while still genuinely appreciating Reese's contributions. No contradiction, no pandering, just consistent analysis that respects both players as professionals who can handle nuanced conversation. Instead, we got this bizarre flip-flop that treats these athletes like they can't handle hearing the same analysis that's shared when they're not in the room. This pattern becomes even more problematic when you consider the larger context of how WNBA players are discussed. There's a tendency to focus on off-court drama rather than on-court performance, creating narratives that often overshadow the actual basketball being played. When analysts can't even maintain consistent positions about fundamental questions like who's driving the league's growth, it's no wonder that coverage often devolves into reality TV-style drama rather than substantive basketball analysis. The WNBA deserves better, its players deserve better, and most importantly, its fans deserve better. As the league continues its unprecedented growth, the quality of its coverage needs to evolve as well. That means moving beyond this strange culture of pandering and contradiction toward a model of consistent, honest analysis that respects players enough to give them the same assessment regardless of whether they're in the room. The numbers don't change depending on who's sitting across from you. Clark's impact on viewership, merchandise sales, and ticket revenue is the same whether you're discussing it with her, with Angel Reese, or with anyone else. Pretending otherwise isn't supporting women's basketball, it's undermining it. What's particularly frustrating about this situation is that both Clark and Reese are tough, competitive athletes who have faced intense scrutiny throughout their careers. The idea that they need to be shielded from straightforward analysis is ridiculous on its face. These are women who have performed on the biggest stages in college basketball, who have handled the pressure of March Madness, who have transitioned to professional careers under unprecedented attention. They're not fragile flowers who need to be coddled. They're elite athletes who deserve to be treated with the respect of honest assessment. Chiney's two-faced approach doesn't just disrespect the players, it disrespects the fans as well. Viewers tune in for insight and analysis, not for performative pandering that changes depending on the guest. When analysts undermine their own credibility like this, they damage the entire ecosystem of WNBA coverage. This matters because media coverage plays a crucial role in how sports are perceived. The NBA's growth wasn't just about the quality of play, it was also about the quality of coverage that helped fans understand and appreciate the game. The WNBA deserves that same level of thoughtful, consistent analysis, rather than the strange culture of contradiction and coddling. The league is at a critical inflection point. With unprecedented attention comes unprecedented opportunity, but capitalizing on that opportunity requires an ecosystem of coverage that treats both players and fans with respect. That means consistent analysis based on facts and performance, not pandering that changes based on who's in the room. Chiney's contradictory statements about Clark and Reese perfectly encapsulate what's wrong with certain segments of WNBA coverage today. It's not just about this specific instance, it's about a broader culture that seems to believe these athletes can't handle the same straightforward assessment that male athletes receive as a matter of course. That's not supporting women's basketball, it's undermining it. And it needs to change if the WNBA is going to build on its current momentum and continue its growth trajectory. The solution is simple, consistent, honest analysis that respects players enough to give them the same assessment regardless of whether they're in the room. No more of this strange dance of contradiction, no more pandering, no more treating professional athletes like children who can't handle the truth. Just straightforward basketball coverage that treats the WNBA with the respect it deserves. The same respect NBA coverage has demonstrated for decades. Is that really too much to ask? Chiney can't decide if Caitlin Clark is the needle or if giving her credit is something only people on the outside do. Pick a lane and stick to it. This two-faced commentary has to stop if the WNBA wants real respect.